Strap in for a high-octane ride, cutting to the rhythm of cars and music as I dissect the editing of Edgar Wright's Baby Driver.
Tequila.
Shout out to this guy for the suggestion. Baby Driver isn't just a film with great soundtracks, it is the soundtrack. And nowhere is that more evident than in the first 6 minutes. Choreographed to the beat of
Bell Bottoms
by John Spencer Blues Explosion. Every single cut, every camera movement, every sound effect is meticulously woven into the fabric of the song. Here is my take. Baby Driver didn't start as a film. It started as sound. Back in 2012, before a frame was even shot, Edgar Wright built the entire thing as a 100-minute radio play. Just the songs, the Foley, and a table read recorded in Los Angeles. No visual references, not even a drawing. Just rhythm, pacing, and intention.
I left my shotgun behind.
Not groovy, JD. Not groovy at all.
And that's what he played to the studio execs. He showed them how the film should feel. Only after that came the animatics of the opening sequence, not as a suggestion, but as a promise. This is how the audience will experience the film, moment by moment. And that's the key thing to understand about Baby Driver. The edit wasn't found in post, it was designed up front. Then editor Paul Machliss was on set, cutting in real time. His job was to make sure every shot would function rhythmically.
And it was a very interesting mix of production and post-production, almost occurring at the same time. We couldn't shoot it, then come back to England to where we did all the post and suddenly realize we have a whole raft of issues. We wanted to make sure that we came back from Atlanta with all the footage, if not cut to a fine degree, but at least assembled that we knew we weren't going to have any issues. And that was an incredible challenge.
No wonder he said this was the most difficult film he ever worked on. The storyboard dictated the shoot respected the music, and the edit honoured both. That chain never breaks.
Retarded means slow. Is he slow?
This shit is bananas, dog.
It's an intense but very efficient production process. The core principle is simple, yet profoundly complex. The music dictates the cut. Jonathan Amos, who joined after production wrapped and was instrumental in cutting the action sequences, noted,
"We would always try and make our action exist within the original track." In some ways that's kind of quite helpful because you have a certain degree of restriction and you can't go beyond a certain point, but in other respects it's a drawback because you're trying to compress a huge amount of information into a very limited space of time.
It's a restriction that, paradoxically, sparks immense creativity, forcing the editors to come up with innovative ways to compress story and action into precise musical segments. So let's break down this opening sequence, shall we? Cut by cut. Before I get into this breakdown, I just want to mention a YouTuber you should definitely check out. His name is Thomas Flight. He made a very thorough breakdown of the opening sequence, so you might hear some similar points in my version. All right, let's go and check it out. So here's the interesting thing. We hear something before we even see anything, and it sounds like a high-pitched frequency. So if you know the story of Baby Driver, you know that Baby wears earphones and plays music all the time because he suffers from tinnitus. So it drops us straight into his head before the film has even started. It's actually genius. I did not notice it first time. So this opening shot, it feels like a start of a Western or a superhero film. You know, that moment when the hero quietly arrives and you know they're about to take over. This close-up is the film laying down the law. From this point on, the music's in charge, and the edit just follows orders. Alright, the first shot of the main character Baby. It's not a full fourth wall break, but it's close enough. That pulls you straight into his head. You're locked into his rhythm. This is his world we're in. So the cut to Griff, to Buddy, and to Darling, they are timed perfectly to the track. They're exactly 3 seconds each. And then Darling opening the car door, it hits right on the song's big intro. This quick pan from the door to the window ramps the energy up. The doors, they slam in sync with the beat. The boot pops open on beat. It's not trying to be realistic, it's basically a dance routine. Ugh, that pedestrian frame wipe and that extra whoosh sound effect, it is peak Edgar Wright. He tends to have this comic booky style in his live actions and he is completely unashamed about it. So by now, we've fully clocked the genre, this is a heist, but it's been staged like a song that's been rehearsed to death. Even the traffic somehow feels in sync with the music if you listen closely. So we're staying with Baby in the car as the robbers enter the bank. This tells us a lot. Obviously, this is Baby's story, so we are staying with the main character, but we can also see from a story point of view that he's not really part of their criminal world. He stays out of the violence, and that makes him easier to root for. Baby's head snaps around exactly as the music cuts, so the actors on set are actually hearing the music in their ears as they perform. This is why everything is timed perfectly. Pause of anticipation, and then he starts dancing. It's such a great juxtaposition, this joyful little moment, sitting inside what is basically a crime scene. This is where the film shows its hand. The edit switches to full music video logic. Orbiting moves, creeping push-ins, mixed shot sizes. Baby isn't just sitting in the car, he's performing with it, like it's his dance partner. So we hear the police sirens before Baby does. This creates tension, but also tries to bring us back into the reality of the world he's in. Baby stops dancing on the very last frame. It's a hard cut that feels like snapping out of a daydream. So in this section, the music gets more chaotic. It matches the escalation and the harsher reality of what Baby's actually involved in. And all the while we are pushing closer and closer to his face. You can feel that internal conflict. He doesn't like this world, but he's trapped in it. And that's how we sympathize with the main character. The music cuts and it returns to that playful part of the song.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
The spoken lyrics almost feel like a stylized character intro.
The fabulous, most groovy, bell bottoms.
That crash zoom is so Edgar Wright. These fast cuts, they're locked to the beat to build pure anticipation. So these extreme close-ups of pedals, gears, steering wheel, it's visual shorthand. They're like comic book panels when a superhero is unlocking his abilities. Baby is tied to the car. His superpower is his driving skills. I like this. The joke lands entirely through timing and reaction shots. I'm not much of a car enthusiast, but I gotta appreciate that shot. It feels closer to ice dancing than driving. I like this low angle shot. This is showing Baby in control. These lightning fast cuts, they create disorientation. It does it without losing geography though. And the reaction shots, they punctuate the danger. Griff looks serious, Buddy and Darling, they are low-key panicking. And Baby, he is cool as a cucumber. So this is the part where I start to see it more like a video game montage than a live action chase sequence. You know when you play games like Detroit or Until Dawn, where you have to mash the correct button on time, otherwise you get in trouble? So that's how I see it in this particular section. So we tend to have these close-ups or extreme close-ups on Baby when he is making split-second decisions. It shows how quick and how smart he is behind the wheel. The crash zoom to the red light shows danger. And then we get the rapid extreme close-ups, usually the power of 3. Personally, I think the payoff, it borders on overcutting for me. It's a tad jumpy, but the intention is clear. It's to match with the music and it's to overwhelm the audience to generate tension. The edit escalates like levels in a video game. These near misses, the police gaining on them, the spikes, the misdirection. There is no dialogue in this because the reactions are doing all the storytelling. Imagine the robbers just constantly shouting down Baby's ear like, "Come on, go faster, faster, turn around, where are you going?" That would absolutely ruin the film. And have you noticed we're mostly inside the car with Baby and the robbers? This is a cheat code for the editors. It deliberately sacrifices spatial clarity to keep the tempo intact. You can tell from this video with the Google Maps choreographing the chase. It is all over the place. I love this choreographed wide shot of the police cars behind. The stakes are astronomically high. Everyone has lost their sunglasses and they've lost their shit, except for Baby. He is still fucking cool. So when the two identical red cars drive by, the camera lands on Baby. That moment is when the idea clicks. He and the audience are on the same page. We are in the perspective of the police. You just can't tell who's who. And even though we see Baby's car driving the other way, we still stick to the helicopter following the wrong targets, being deceived. We get a bit of breathing space in this wide shot. It's the release of the tension, the victory of Baby and his driving. So we have a POV shot of the police car head. It almost comes out of nowhere, and we have a series of fast reaction shots. Almost plays like a comedy because it's a false scare. Just when we have victory around the corner, suddenly there's a police car and we're like, oh, holy shit, we gotta get caught. But then Baby slows down and then the police pass. The edit delivers this punchline to the whole chase. And then we get a longer take of the parking, costume change, new car, and then exiting the car park, all as the credits roll. No pause, no decompression, the film just keeps on moving. What makes this sequence and Edgar Wright's style in general so compelling from an editor's perspective? It's a deliberate and often witty application of techniques. Rhythmic editing. The most obvious, of course, is the absolute dedication to cutting to the beat. But as Jonathan Amos points out,
I don't think it is always cut to the beat. You're finding kind of other rhythms within the images rather than strictly cutting something to the beat. So I think that's the extra layers of syncopation we could kind of bring into it through editing, which give it such a unique feel, I think.
visual comedy. Wright uses comedy as a punchline. Humour comes from timing, reaction shots, crash zooms, or objects coming and leaving frame at just the right moment. He borrows the logic of comic book panels and applies it to live action, creating a deliberately playful, almost childish energy within otherwise grounded worlds. Match cuts and transitions. The pedestrian frame wipe is a signature Edgar Wright move. His edits generate momentum without sacrificing clarity, keeping scenes kinetic but never messy. The tempo stays intact, so everything feels fast, fluid, and intentional. Sound design integration. The sound effects are integral to the rhythm and impact. The car door slams, the whooshing sound effects, the police sirens are all carefully placed to enhance the musicality and narrative. Economy of storytelling. Every cut serves a purpose, conveying character, plot, and emotion in precise efficiency. We understand Baby's detached cool, the robbers' personalities, and the stakes of the heist, all through visual cues and precise timing. Jonathan Amos describes putting this sequence together as
probably the best editing month of my life. Yeah, I had a big smile every single day.
I dream to have an experience like that. This speaks volumes about the challenge and joy of crafting such a complex rhythm-driven piece. Paul Machliss and Jonathan Amos's collaboration, with Machliss laying the groundwork on set and Amos refining the action sequences in post, was crucial to Baby Driver's success. They weren't just cutting footage, they were composing a symphony of sight and sound. The bell-bottom sequence demands repeat viewings, not just for the thrill, but to truly appreciate the intricate dance between image and sound that makes it a modern classic of editing. So, what's your favourite scene in Baby Driver? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more editing breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.